Welcome to the deep dive. You know that feeling, right? When a big update drops for a game you love, and suddenly everyone's talking about how it changes everything.
Oh yeah, that pre-patch buzz is something else.
Well, today that's exactly what we're digging into. The massive new patch, version 1.020 for Monster Hunter Wilds. It's a big one.
It really is. And we're working off a really detailed breakdown of the official patch notes from a gaming news source. They've gone through it line by line.
So our goal here, for you listening, is to unpack what they're calling the biggest weapon changes to date. We want to figure out how this stuff actually impacts how you play.
And we'll cover the other key bits too. New monsters, some important bug fixes. Plus, there's this really weird situation with the game's reception we need to talk about.
Yeah, that part's fascinating. Okay, let's get into it. So first things first, when does this actually land? When can people play with all this new stuff?
Okay, the article locks it down. June 30th, 2025. That's the date for patch 1.020.
And it's not just the patch, right? It's tied in with something else.
Yeah, exactly. It drops alongside free title update too, so it's kind of a double whammy of content and changes.
Nice. And it's not just fixes. We're getting actual new monsters.
We are. Legekris and Cerigios are back, which, is going to make a lot of veteran hunters very happy.
Oh, definitely. But the article really hammers home that the main event here is the weapon balancing, doesn't it? These biggest changes to date.
That's the headline takeaway, yeah.
Yeah.
It's primarily buffs across the board for a lot of weapons, plus those necessary bug fixes to smooth things out.
New monsters are cool, but yeah, changing how your weapon feels, that's fundamental.
Absolutely. That's what really alters the moment-to-moment gameplay.
And it's not just the weapons getting tweaked, there are some general player improvements too, right? Quality of life stuff.
Right. Small things, but they add up. Like you'll get control back a little faster after starting a quest. Just feels snappier.
Okay, that's good. Any others like that?
Gathering actions are apparently more responsive now. Less getting stuck in animations, hopefully.
Oh, nice.
And if you're crushed and bleeding, you recover faster, which is, pretty situational, but helpful when it happens.
True. And bug fixes too. I saw something about slicked blade.
Yeah, they fixed that skill effect sticking around when it shouldn't. Also fixed an issue where you could somehow get multiple large barrel bombs in your pouch.
Ah, okay. Probably good they fixed that one.
And some control fixes, like dashing from a crouch, actually being a dash, not a run. And Pure Wasp Delivery now properly removes the web state, just tidying up those little annoyances.
Okay, cool. What about our buddy's secret, the mount, first?
Secret's getting some attention. Calling it should be faster. Controlling it after mounting should feel better too.
And they fixed that weird bug where it just circles around sometimes.
Yes, that auto-move circling bug when you arrive before a large monster is apparently gone. Big relief there.
Definitely. Anything else for secret?
Yeah, they tweak item use while mounted. Better input priority and cancel timing after doing things like switching weapons or closing the map. So, less fumbling for that potion.
Okay, that's useful.
Oh, and you can dismount while drifting now. Bit of style, bit of mobility.
Nice little touch. What about the support hunters?
A couple of things. They fixed a bug where they'd pop out of cover too soon during Jin Dahad's big attack, which is good, keeps them alive.
Yeah, it keeps them helpful.
And they hit harder now, especially if the quest leader is high rank, HR 100+. Their monster mounting behavior is adjusted too. And Olivia gets a new follow-up move after an offset attack.
Oh, interesting. More depth for her. Palicos.
Just one main fix mentioned for Palicos. They shouldn't stop using Wasp Delivery randomly anymore. So more reliable healing, hopefully.
Okay, good. Right, let's dive into the main course. The weapon rebalancing, the buff fest. Where should we start? Dual blades.
Sounds good. Dual blades seem to be getting, more control over movement, but mostly just more raw damage. A lot more.
More raw. Like on which moves specifically?
Sixfold, Demon Slash, Demon Flurry Rush, Demon Flurry. Those core damage dealers got buffed. Also Screw Slicer, Focus Strike, Turning Tide, and Heavenly Blade Dance saw raw increases.
So just hitting harder overall.
Pretty much. Blade Dance Gutsek is more responsive, movement speed in Demon mode is up. They did slightly lower Blade Dance's elemental lament scaling, but upped its raw to compensate.
Oh, okay.
And slightly lower Demon Boost mode's raw boost, but upped its elemental boost. Kind of shifting things around. But the overall trend feels like more power, more speed. Oh, and bug fixes for power prolonger and camera shake.
Gotcha. So faster, harder hitting. What about sword and shield? The versatile one.
Sword and shield is leaning into its shield. Shield attack, shield bash, hard bash, all get increased raw damage and stun values.
Making the shield more offensive then.
Seems like it, yeah. Perfect Rush's finisher, chop, side slash, also got raw damage buffs. but it's not all gains.
Oh, what's the trade-off?
The invincibility window on sliding swipe is a bit shorter now, and it's apparently harder to chain guard slash repeatedly.
Okay, so maybe it requires a bit more timing, less spamming.
Could be. And counter flash raw damage was actually decreased, so a bit of give and take. They also fix a bug with focus strike hitting wounds too much.
Interesting shift. Okay, longsword, always popular.
Longsword's big change seems to be elemental. Crimson/2 gets a significant elemental scaling increase.
Whoa, okay. Elemental longsword builds getting a boost.
Looks like it. Crimson/3 also gets raw and elemental ailment scaling increases, plus it chains faster into Spearblade 1.
So smoother combos, more elemental punch.
Exactly. Plus raw damage increases for Spirit Release slash, Spirit Round slash when the gauge is red, Spinning Crimson slash, and Eye Spirit slash at white and yellow gauge levels.
So lots of buffs there, too. Any nerfs?
Just Crimson/Io had its elemental ailment scaling decreased slightly. But overall, very strong buffs rewarding gauge management and elemental play.
Makes sense. How about the hammer? Big bonks.
Hammer's getting some nice new combo routes.
Mm-hmm.
You can chain into a special follow-up after landing a big stagger with an offset attack.
Oh, cool. Rewarding those counters.
Yeah. And you can chain from Focus Blow, Earthquake into a Charged Side Blow now. They also added offset effects to Charged Upswing and Mighty Charge Upswing.
More counter opportunities then.
It seems like it. And charge levels build faster when you chain into a charged step from a dodge. So, quicker access to those big hits.
And the hits themselves.
Charged Big Bang raw damage up, Muddy Charge Slam raw damage, and elemental scaling up. Some hitbox adjustments, and a fix for Big Bang 4 hitting twice. Overall, feels like more flow, more power.
Good stuff for hammer mains. Hunting Horn, the musical support.
Hunting Horn gets some interesting mechanics. Timing, focus strike, reverb perfectly, now plays an extra note, and sets an echo bubble.
An echo bubble? What's that do?
Damage, presumably. You can prevent it if you want, though. Also, hitting a monster with resounding melody now triggers a sound wave, even with just one hit.
Making single hits more impactful.
Right, and a huge quality of life thing. Secret doesn't stop anymore when you play songs while mounted.
Oh, that's massive for mobility.
Yeah. The echo bubble hitbox is way bigger now, too, and offset melody has a bigger evade window, making it safer. Some bug fixes for melody display and stuff, too. Feels like they're making it more active and fluid.
Nice. Lance, the pokey shield.
Lance gets a cool new chain. You can go to a charge counter right from Focus Strike. Victory Thrust.
Ooh, another counter transition.
Exactly. And they made the hitbox for Victory Thrust easier to land, rewarding precision. There was also a bug fix for some shield attacks during Focus Strike, resolve breaking wounds unintentionally.
Okay. Gunlance. Any big changes there?
Mostly a bug fix for Gunlance.
Okay.
Apparently some multi-hit attacks like Multi-Worm Stake Full Blast had an unintentionally high chance for later hits to crit. That's been fixed, so damage should be more consistent now.
Right, normalizing things. Okay, Switch Axe, the Transformer.
Switch Axe gets better distance control with Unbridled Slash and Full Release Slash in focus mode. And you can reduce the backward hop from Element Discharge Finisher a bit.
More control, less getting pushed out of position.
Exactly. And the big news seems to be Elemental again. Follow-up explosions from Sword Attacks, Unbridled Slash, Full Release Slash, and Axe. Follow-up Morph Slash, huge elemental scaling increase when using element files.
Wow, really pushing element files then.
Seems that way. Some Axe raw damage went down slightly, like on follow-up Heavy Slam and Morph Slash, but basic Axe attacks recover more switch gauge now.
So easier to get back into sword mode.
Yeah, and Axe. Morph Rising Double Slash gets more raw damage, more amp gauge recovery, and uses less switch gauge. Sword. Triple Slash gets more raw and amp recovery. Sword. Overhead Slash uses less switch gauge. Feels like a big boost to fluidity and elemental power. Oh, and a fix for rapid morph scaling on Jumping Morph Slash.
Lots going on there. Charge Blade, the other complex transformer.
Charge Blade gets perfect guard detection on its guard points now.
Whoa, okay. What does that enable?
You can chain straight into Savage Axe Slash after a successful perfect guard. Huge reward for timing.
That sounds powerful. File's getting buffed too.
Yep. Explosive File raw damage is up when chaining into Super Amped Element Discharge from certain moves. Raw damage is also up for Amped Element Discharge, Super Amped Element Discharge itself, Weak Slash, Return Stroke, Shield Thrust. Lots of increases.
So AED and SAED spam might be back.
Potentially hitting harder, yeah. Explosive File damage from Axe discharges is up too. Impact File explosions in Sword Boost mode get more raw damage. Axe. Element Discharge chains faster into other Axe moves.
Any nerfs to balance it out?
Multi-hit attacks in Power Axe mode had their raw damage decrease slightly. And some important bug fixes related to file boosts, sharpness loss on guard points, and rapid morph scaling. Overall, seems like a big push for perfect guard and file explosions.
Makes sense. Okay, wrapping up the weapons, ranged options, heavy bowgun.
Heavy bowgun gets faster rapid-fire gauge recovery for spread ammo 1 and 2, so close-range builds get a little boost.
Doing fixes?
Yeah, fixed being hard to evade after slicing ammo sometimes, and fixed the burst skill triggering too easily with cluster bombs or wyvern blast ignition.
Okay. Anything for bowguns generally, or just bow?
General bowgun fix.
Yeah.
The airborne skill wasn't working right with spread ammo. That's fixed now. And for bow, a fix for coating, sometimes just unequipping themselves randomly.
Hey, that bow fix sounds crucial. Nothing worse than your coating just vanishing.
Exactly. Just a frustrating little bug squashed.
Okay, wow. That was a lot of weapon changes. Seriously comprehensive.
It really is. Probably the biggest single rebalancing patch I can remember for a Monster Hunter game recently.
Which makes this next part even stranger. We've just gone through all these buffs, fixes, new content, yet the game's reception is, not great.
Yeah, this is the paradox the article touches on. Right now, Monster Hunter Wilds has overwhelmingly negative recent reviews on Steam. Overall, it's mixed.
Overwhelmingly negative. Why? What are people saying?
A lot of the criticism seems focused on stuff not in this patch. Players complaining about a lack of promised optimization updates, and just a general feeling that there isn't enough content yet.
So technical performance and maybe endgame depth are the main complaints.
Seems to be the core of the negative feedback, yeah.
Yeah.
Very vocal, very public criticism.
Okay, but here's the twist. Despite all that negative feedback, the game's a massive hit commercially, isn't it?
It's staggering, actually. The article states it hit over 1 million concurrent players on Steam, and it sold over 10 million copies in its first month.
10 million copies with overwhelmingly negative recent reviews. How does that even happen?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? What does this tell you, the listener? This huge gap between the loud, critical online voices and the sheer number of people buying and presumably playing the game.
It's genuinely confusing. Maybe the negative voices are a smaller but very active group. Or maybe people buy based on hype and then get disappointed.
Could be a mix of things. Initial hype, brand loyalty, maybe the core gameplay loop is still fun for millions despite the issues raised by critics. It really makes you think about what success means for a game.
Yeah, it really does. So just to recap quickly, we've covered this massive patch for Monster Hunter Wilds, huge weapon buffs across the board, important quality of life fixes, new monsters.
Right, a really substantial update aimed at improving the core experience.
But then we hit this paradox. Intense community criticism online, especially recently, contrasting sharply with phenomenal sales figures and player counts.
Which leaves us and you with this final thought to chew on. In today's world where player feedback is instant and everywhere, what does it signify when a game can be commercially dominant despite facing significant public criticism from parts of its community?
Does it change how developers prioritize things? Do sales figures ultimately matter more than Steam reviews or forum posts? How do they balance pleasing the hardcore critics versus the broader, maybe quieter player base?
It's a complex dynamic, for sure. Something to keep an eye on, not just with Wilds, but across the industry. How developers navigate that tension between feedback, content, optimization, and commercial realities.
Definitely food for thought.